What's in store for Next Gen Business? I'm Kate Save. The Inspired CEO starts now. Welcome to The Inspired CEO, where each episode we explore the innovative wellness practices that are driving success and longevity in the modern business world. My next guest is the CEO and publisher of Foundr, a global media and education platform that connects aspiring entrepreneurs with leaders like Richard Branson and Ariana Huffington, offering actionable, expert-driven content to support business growth. Welcome, Nathan Chan. Thank you for coming in here today.
Thanks so much for having me, Kate. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Well, I had the pleasure of attending your 10-year anniversary for Foundr last year, and that was just so incredible. And to see the journey that you've been on and the people that you've interviewed, tell me, how did you get started?
Yeah, so I always had like a little bit of an interest in entrepreneurship. I used to work a job in IT support, but it wasn't something that really drew me, like the work. I always wanted to find, I think life is too short to not do work that you enjoy. Yeah. And I was always interested in entrepreneurship. So I started to hear stories about, 10 years ago, I started to hear stories about, you know, friends of friends creating these online businesses with no skills, no experience whatsoever, making a really good living. And I wanted to know how they were doing it. Yeah. So I started to interview people just for fun. And what I found after doing these interviews and creating this little magazine, that these interviews were so awesome that I wanted to share them with the world. And that's how Foundr was started. Now, it wasn't called Foundr at the time. It was actually called Key to Success magazine. And it was a digital magazine, and I was actually sued for trademark infringement in the first 4 months of starting. Just as I got an interview with Richard Branson in the first 4 months, I was sued for trademark infringement, got a FedEx package in the mail saying I need to appear in Dallas, Texas for trademark infringement, and changed the name to Foundr, rest is history. But that's how it got all started.
I bet that wasn't the story that you were expecting to uncover. It's your own story.
Oh, look, you know, your first foray into business, knew nothing about business. My mum was a nurse. My dad was a teacher. Like, no contacts, no connections in the, you know, in the suburbs of Melbourne. Don't know anybody. And yeah, that's my first foray. So it was super stressful.
And I think really understanding that and where you've come from without the connections and getting to where you have got to now, but you also got there very quickly with Foundr, and not without lots of hard work. But I think for the people watching today, actually understanding, what does that journey look like? What does 10 years building a global business look like? Yeah,
look, it's first of all, I think, you know, I know you're interested in around, you know, a few of the questions you want to ask me is around leadership. Yeah. Businesses are built by people. Yes. Right? So along the way, I've been fortunate to have some great people around me that have helped me build the business. Like my old head of marketing, he's not with us anymore because, you know, he did a really good stint. He was with us for about 6 years. And as the business grew, we brought in another leader. But Dave, like I was talking to him yesterday for like 2 hours, we're talking about the old days. And like I met him on the phone.
Wow.
I met him on the phone, him trying to sell me something. Like, so I've just been able to just kind of find my way through networking, meeting people, putting yourself out there, and over time, more than ever, really trying to just find and surround myself with great quality people, great quality human beings that are really passionate. They're bought into the mission of what we're building. We want to build a global brand that supports and creates entrepreneurs through our entrepreneurial content, our education platform, Foundr Plus, which is our subscription membership like Netflix for entrepreneurs. Cool. And, you know, it's just finding great people, surrounding yourself with great people. But then also at the same time, you know, I'm a big fan of this ethos that when you have a problem that you're trying to solve in business or life, it's not what, it's who. And I have a real passion and strength of going out there, researching, finding people, networking, connecting, serving first and asking later. Not say, hey, can I pick your brain, but say, hey, you know, you should think about this, this, and this, and connecting. and learning from others, that is what has been able to accelerate my personal growth and Foundr's growth. And that's been really, really critical. And that's what we try and share with people at Foundr, right? Like, if you want to know how to grow an e-commerce brand, you should learn from someone like Greta, who's built like 4 multi-million-dollar e-commerce stores. She's one of our teachers and instructors on our Foundr Plus platform. If you want to know how to find the right manufacturer for your e-commerce product, you should learn from Kian. He's sourced over 2,000 products. He's worked with the NBA, right?
Wow.
Like all sorts of Walmart, like all sorts of massive companies. So the list kind of goes on, but it's all about finding people. I'm a big fan of who, not what. Who's done it? Who can I learn from? Because I want to learn from people's mistakes.
And I must say, some of your interviews that you've done are phenomenal, and hearing the stories of people like Ariana Huffington as well, and her fall from grace with burnout. And what has been the most memorable interview or memorable stories, learnings for you? You might have more than one, but...
Yeah, so look, there is one, and it's kind of stuck with me, good, bad, or otherwise, right? So I've done over 500 interviews now, maybe 600 plus. I've interviewed probably, well, I've lost count, but well over 100 billionaires.
Wow.
And I've found that there was one interview that always comes back to me. I don't know why, and it was with the founder of a company called Xero Accounting. So Rod Drury. And Xero wasn't his first company. He started many successful businesses, a couple of tech startups, but Xero is the most successful one. Multi-billion-dollar market cap, based out of New Zealand as well.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah, massive company, big success story out of there. And it was like an early interview I did, and I said, look, you've started multiple companies. You've done really, really well. What is it? What's your secret? How would you, like, what is something you'd love to share? And he said, Nathan, for me, it's always about speed. How can I get it done faster? How can I get it faster? And it's uncomfortable, pushing. But I'm all about speed. And he's like, I'm always trying to move faster. And I think in today's age where, you know, you've got AI, you've got all these different tools, it is easier than ever to start a business. It's easier than ever to grow a business through all of these tools, but you've got to have this sense of urgency when you approach anything. Now that's just one. I could go on for days of all these incredible insights, but if there was one thing that impacted me personally was just how he thinks about moving and speed. So yeah, that was one.
Yeah. I think that is really powerful too, because I think a lot of the time, this day and age, we hear, slow down, you're going too fast. Well, actually, if you want to be at the top, you've got to go a little bit faster than that. Well, someone's going to beat you there. So that's really refreshing.
Yeah, look, that sense of urgency, that's something that was instilled in me that was really impactful. It might not be the most savviest kind of word of wisdom that's come down, but there's so many interviews, it becomes a blur. I don't know if you find this, but I find it to be a massive blur after doing so many.
Well, it obviously really resonates with you, and you are constantly evolving your business. So what is your, well, you've said what your vision is, but what's next? How do you get to where you want to get to?
Yeah, so for us to be a global leader, so the brand is, you know, some people know the brand, but not everyone, right? And we're not a market leader yet. So for us, it's really about growing our membership, Foundr Plus. How do we, like, it's been a crazy transition. We've gone from selling, you know, individual programs and courses and workshops for anywhere between $500 to $1,000 to now selling them, you know, giving access to everything, having an all-access pass for either $100 a month or $500 a year. Which is, you know, it's better for the customer, and it allows us to really focus on just creating one product, which is that holistic experience around how we can help somebody really start and grow an e-commerce business, and then other businesses too. So, but particularly online focused. So as we grow our membership, we just want to put out more content that helps and serves founders, build the brand, get more people to tell their stories, get more people to give back on our platform, and then over time, I'd really love us to start building sub-brands in other languages.
Incredible.
I think that's going to be a really big thing. I also, I just want to keep putting out more content. I think content is where it's at, whether it's premium or free content. How can we put out more content that helps founders? How do we tell more stories that helps founders?
And I believe that is the key to really growing a successful business in this day and age is content. You look at platforms like TikTok that has gone off the charts in how quickly that evolved, and the number one thing is content. If you don't have good content, you don't exist.
Yeah, so look, I think more than ever, consumers are savvy and they want to know the person behind the business. They want to know the why behind the business. That's why you're seeing more than ever people creating founder-led brands,
Yes.
People telling a story around how they're starting this business and documenting it on TikTok, and people putting themselves out there as the owner, as the founder, or as the face of the business, and telling stories. It's all about storytelling. The more that you can tell stories, the more you can connect, because all of this is just relationships at scale.
That
right?
makes sense.
Like when you want to build a business, you want to grow a business, it's relationships at scale. So how can you do that? The cool thing is when you create one piece of content, you can turn that, like for us, we can take one interview, like an interview with Richard Branson, that can be an audio podcast, that can be a video podcast, that can be many different quotes, it can be many different clips, it can be articles, it can be infographics, it can be an email newsletter. So that one piece of content could be 100 different pieces. So that's a really cool thing with content, and through the power of the internet you can get it to spread. Now it doesn't always spread, and it's more competitive out there than ever, and there's a lot of sensationalism with the hooks and the headlines, but if you can create great content that attracts a community of people that are really behind your movement, behind the problem your product or service solves, then it's a great way, it's a great cost affordable way to grow a business, but it takes time.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And it also comes down to the person that's doing it. So often I see like, I want to outsource this, I want to throw money at that problem, but I think more than ever, right, if you want to get into the content game, you want to build your personal brand, you want to start using content as a traction channel or a marketing channel for your business, you've got to learn it yourself.
You've got to be authentic, don't you? Now,
and you've got to understand it, right? It's very, very hard to find somebody to do it for you, because how do you know if they're good?
That's right.
Like, and you've got your own vision for it.
Yes.
Now you can find good people, but it's very tough, right?
Yeah.
It's better that it's one of these things you do it yourself, play around, get dirty with it, and then really understand how it works, and then you can go and find someone that's done it before and influence the outcome.
Makes sense. Now, last question for you. How do you stay fresh in terms of your brain, your body, keeping your mind at the fast lightning pace that it must be going at to run this global empire? What do you do to stay healthy?
Yeah, so first things first, it's for me, it starts, businesses are built by people, having great people around me. It's the Louises, it's the Pennies, it's the Leahs, it's the Charlies of Foundr that are managing basically their own mini functional business. That's the first piece. The second piece is having a really solid assistant.
Yes.
The third piece is I'm all into health and fitness. I go to the gym 4 times a week. I'm focused on getting 10,000 steps a day. The third piece is getting my nutrition right, making sure like my meals are on autopilot with the service like BeFit Food, right? And then I'm pretty big on meditation and recharging. I always try and recharge at least once a week, like with pickleball or spa sauna with a friend. I'm trying to sauna. I have a sauna at my place. I'm trying to sauna a couple of times a week. I'm always trying to have that downtime. I think that downtime is really, really, really important. And then also, it's something a little bit taboo, but I'm a big fan, if you go to the gym to lift weights to train your muscles, I'm a big fan of, going to a therapist and training your mind. Right?
So good.
Right? A lot of people don't talk
empowering.
about it, but having a solid therapist is a game changer.
So for anyone who wants to be an incredible founder and find out more about Foundr and the courses you run, where do they go, Nathan?
You can go to foundr.com. It's founder without the E, Foundr.com. We have a $1 trial where you can try out our membership for 14 days. We'd love to go on the journey with you.
Amazing. So this is Ticker, and we'll be right back.
You're watching Ticker. We'll have more in just a few minutes.